Opening scene, low ambient sound, dim lighting, subtle ticking clock. In a quiet suburb just outside Washington, D.C., Karoline Leavitt sits in her study, alone, alert, unshaken. The fire crackles in the corner, casting shadows across the hardwood floor. She doesn't flinch. A storm is coming, and she's already prepared to meet it. Suddenly, secure ping, encrypted alert flashing on a custom tablet. She picks it up. One glance is enough. FBI priority flash, cartel strike team en route, ETA 17 minutes. Objective, Karoline Leavitt. She closes the tablet. Calm, controlled. A lesser person might panic. She smirks. Cut to interior montage, tense music. She walks briskly to the wall behind her desk. A quiet click, the mahogany panel slides open, revealing something the cartel never saw coming. Surveillance feeds, every inch of the property covered. Custom-built defense systems, engineered by former Black Ops. Concealed security panels, biometric scanners, and one very unassuming grandfather clock. That's actually the entrance to a sub-level armory. Karoline doesn't just live here. She commanded this place into existence. Camera zooms out, black SUVs speeding down a private road. Narrator. 10 miles out, the convoy roars through the night. 5 blacked-out SUVs, 14 armed men, and one ruthless commander, Felix Reyes, a name whispered in cartel circles, a ghost, a killer. And tonight, he's convinced he's about to erase a political nuisance. She's a mouthpiece, Reyes had told his men. Smart, yeah, but soft. She'll fold. He had no idea. Back to Karoline. Narrator. In the security room, Karoline taps a sequence on the touchscreen. Suddenly, floodlights activate on a perimeter delay. Infrared heat traps kick in. Underground drones boot up, armed with EMP bursts and sonic disorienters. Her phone buzzes. Team is 4 minutes out. She replies with one word, lure them in. Cut to Reyes, inside SUV, watching through night vision goggles. They see the lights of the mansion flicker on. A figure in the window. She's alone, just like Intel said. Let's finish this. No mistakes. In and out, 2 minutes. They move in, like wolves. But what they don't know is, this isn't a hunt, it's a trap. Action builds, infiltration begins. They breach the gate, no resistance. 2 men peel off toward the garden. Boom. Tripwire detonation. Non-lethal, but disabling. Both go down screaming. Panic crackles in the earpieces. What was that? Reyes snaps. Keep moving. They push into the house only to find empty rooms. Motion sensors lie to them. Holographic decoys dance across the halls. And from the shadows, Karoline watches, measuring, waiting. Final showdown. Silent tension before eruption. When Reyes finally reaches the study, he finds her standing by the fireplace, unarmed, unbothered. Karoline, took you long enough. He raises his weapon, but the floor drops beneath him. Magnetic override, tactical engineering. Courtesy of someone who knows war far better than he ever will. He crashes into a containment cell, reinforced steel, 0 signal. The rest of his squad? Neutralized. Her team arrives in seconds. Ending. Slow zoom on Karoline's face. Lights dim. Narrator. By morning, the FBI has Reyes in federal custody. His team disarmed, identified, and broken. No one can explain how a politician pulled off a tactical defense op more precise than military-grade protocol. But Karoline? She doesn't explain. She executes. Because behind the politics, behind the speeches and spotlights, is a mind that calculates, a heart that defies, and a woman who refuses to be underestimated. Opening scene. Quiet tension. Low heartbeat sound. Flickering red light from surveillance. Narrator. Let them think they're winning. Karoline Leavitt had whispered those words minutes earlier. That's when they fall. Now, the game begins. Cut to exterior. Night vision POV of cartel strike team. The first group breaches the front yard. 5 men. No sound, no chatter, just cold precision and military hand signals. They think they're ghosts, but Karoline's mansion, it sees everything. Cut to inside. Her command center, standing over a live feed panel, watching quietly. Lights. Instant, floodlights explode to life, retina scorching brightness. The intruders freeze, then stagger back, disoriented. A half-second later, pash! Tactical knockout gas hisses from the grass. 1 down. 2. then 3. The last 2 try to run, too late. Electrified fence. 20,000 volts says hello. Cut to the rear of the property, second team with explosives. The second unit hits the back wall. Boom. A controlled detonation shatters the stone exterior. Smoke pours into the hallway. They charge in, guns raised, ready for blood. And then, sirens. Not police, not real. Karoline's tech plays tricks on the brain. High-pitched sirens, strobing red-blue lights, and then the sound of screaming children. Babies crying. Alarms blaring in reverse. Sound warfare, psychological chaos. Cartel soldier, where's it coming from? Where is she? No answer. Just a hallway that seems to stretch forever. They spin in place, guns shaking. One vomits from the frequency. Another collapses, clawing at his ears. Cut to Felix Reyes, SUV parked near the perimeter, watching through comms feed. Felix Reyes hears the noise through his earpiece. His men, panicked, disoriented, dropping like flies. He curses in Spanish, pounding the dash. Felix, shut it off. Shut everything off. But the screen in front of him goes black, signal jammed. His team is now in the dark. Back inside. Karoline slowly walking down a hallway with sleek confidence. She walks with purpose, no rush. She's not fighting to survive. She's orchestrating a collapse. Every camera, every trap, every frequency spike, she programmed it all. This isn't a mansion, it's a battlefield, and she's the one pulling the strings. Cut to third cartel unit, lost, yelling through comm. Unit 3 tries to call for backup. They hear nothing. Felix screams into the comms from his SUV, abort mission, pull back. No one hears him. Not because the radios broke, because Karoline crushed their signal grid 5 minutes ago. She let them walk in, but she's not letting them walk out. Drone shot of the estate, figures scrambling in confusion, sirens warping into eerie silence. Outside, the chaos slows. Not because the mission is complete, but because the attackers have no idea what's real anymore. They're split, isolated. Some are unconscious. Some are trapped behind auto-locking steel doors. And one is caught in a hallway where the lights pulse like a heartbeat, counting down. Cut to Felix, sweating. Felix Reyes, the ghost, the assassin, the cartel's secret weapon, looks at his dead signal and mutters, "What is this woman?" He had come to end a politician. But instead, he walked into a war room built by a woman who studied every move, anticipated every tactic, and planned for this night since the first threat crossed her desk. Karoline Leavitt wasn't surprised. She was waiting. Final scene, Karoline back at her command panel, eyes. She taps one last key, and every light in the house turns red. Not for drama, not for style, but because red means containment complete. Her team is just minutes away. The cleanup begins. And Felix Reyes? He won't be remembered as the man who killed Karoline Leavitt. He'll be remembered as the man who underestimated her. Narrat Khan. Closing line. Into her comms mic. Cool. Next time, send someone smarter ever again. Opening shot. Sunrise edge lighting the mansion rooftop, smoke lingering in the air. Narrator. They brought weapons. Karoline Leavitt stands at the top of the stairwell, overlooking the aftermath of the first wave. Broken gear, broken pride. She wipes dust from her blazer sleeve. I brought strategy. Cut to driveway. Black SUVs pulling in, headlights cutting through fog. Narrator. Her team arrives. Not an army, not mercenaries, but something far more dangerous. Mark, cybersecurity genius, former NSA. Doesn't speak much. Doesn't need to. Laya, field tactician, ex-Mossad, calm under fire, deadly with a drone. James, logistics savant, once coordinated rescue missions in active war zones. They don't knock, they sink. Interior, sharp, fast-paced montage. Mark links into the system. Triple encryption, thermal surveillance, satellite bounce. Laya takes the roof, scanning skies, setting micro-turrets. James rolls in crates, drones, signal amplifiers, emergency power cores. No panic, no questions. They've done this before, but never for someone like her. Cut to Felix, battered but breathing, inside a utility shed with his last 2 conscious men. Felix Reyes presses his emergency beacon. His eyes are bloodshot, his pride shattered. But he's not done yet. "Get me El Fantasma," he growls, a name that makes men flinch. Mom. South American jungle, a hit radio lights up. Narrator, low and ominous. They call him El Fantasma, the ghost. No real name, no record, only bodies left in his wake. And now, he's coming for Karoline Leavitt. Cut to Karoline, sipping coffee, watching infrared map of her property. The chopper's already in the air. Elite reinforcements, full tactical loadout, top-tier killers trained for off-the-books eradication. Most people would run, most would beg for federal extraction. But Karoline? She finishes her coffee. Let them come. Round 2's already designed. Action sequence. Rooftop sensors flare up. Leia, movement. Northeast airspace. Low altitude. Chopper inbound. Mark, they're scrambling our satellites. Sloppy. ETA. 4 minutes. You want evac? I want front row seats. Cut to chopper descending, masked operatives rappelling onto the property. Narrator. 6 men hit the ground with perfect coordination. Thermal suits, laser-sighted rifles, night vision lenses. But the ground they land on isn't what they think. It's smart terrain. Pressure-sensitive, audio-reactive, facial tagged. Mark smiles as alerts pop up. They're walking into the sandbox. Interior. Karoline monitoring live feed. She speaks calmly into the mic. Trigger sequence, Echo 12. At that moment, one by one, silent traps activate. Ground mines that emit paralyzing frequency bursts. Sonic disruptors targeted to ear canal wavelengths. Auto-lock gates that separate the team mid-mission. What looks like chaos is actually choreography. Cut to El Fantasma, unbothered, advancing through the garden like a shadow. He's seen worse. He's survived worse. But even he pauses when he sees the mansion's east wing, flickering like it's breathing. No windows, no doors, just moving walls. He steps forward. Click. Laser grid tracks his body heat. He stands still. Then a voice from nowhere. "Karoline, I know who you are, but you don't know me, not really. I don't need to outgun you. I just need to outthink you." Back to Felix, watching the feed from the shed, sweat dripping. He sees El Fantasma stopped, frozen. Even he's not immune to psychological warfare. And then his signal cuts again. Not because Karoline wants him blind, but because she wants him isolated. Interior. Karoline speaks to her team. Karoline, they're tacticians, not visionaries. They can improvise, but they can't adapt to intelligence. They expected a politician. They got an architect of their downfall. Final moments. Chopper extraction fails, anti-air jammers activate, reinforcements trapped. Narrator. El Fantasma realizes too late, this wasn't a mansion, it was a message. Every hallway? Calculated. Every defense? Personal. Every failure? Engineered by a woman who built her life knowing one truth. Outsmarting evil is more powerful than outrunning it. Closing shot. El Fantasma retreats. Felix in custody, mansion fully intact. Violence makes noise, but strategy leaves scars. Opening shot, smoke settling over the estate, moonlight washing the grounds in cold silver. He thinks he's a shadow. Karoline stands alone in the observation tower, eyes fixed on the infrared map. A calm smirk plays across her lips. I live in the dark. Cut to El Fantasma, crouched in the tree line, eyes scanning the property. The ghost has arrived. El Fantasma, top-tier assassin, known for vanishing before the blood hits the ground. But this time, he's feeling something new. Hesitation. It's too quiet, too smooth, too intentional. Inside, Karoline at the mic, controlling hidden speaker feeds throughout the estate. Narrator. She doesn't wait to be found. She announces herself, but not the way they expect. Karoline, over speakers. Diego Mendez, 2 counts of child trafficking in Juarez. Your mother cried when they arrested you. Diego freezes behind a hedge. Luis Ortega, murdered 3 border agents in 2019. Still think no one knows? How does she know that? She keeps going, name by name, sin by sin. Not shouted, but spoken like a sermon at a funeral. Their funeral. Cut to soldiers scattering, fear and whispers spreading. Narrator, fear isn't a bullet, it's a virus, and Karoline spreads it with surgical precision. Some men retreat, without orders. Others pause, guns shaking, eyes darting. This isn't combat anymore. It's a mind game, and she's winning. Cut to El Fantasma, tense, kneeling in the dark. He watches them break, not from bullets, but from truth. He speaks into his comms, push forward, cut the feed, find her. But even he feels the air shift. This doesn't feel like a fortress anymore. It feels like a trap. Cut to interior. Karoline walking the corridor, speaking softly into him. You think I'm just defending, but this whole estate is a weapon, and you just pulled the trigger. Action cut. Elite unit breaches East Wing entrance. They breach. Heavy door, steel frame, flashbangs in first. They expect chaos. They find silence, no resistance, no defenders, just a wall of mirrors. Each mirror glowing faintly, etched with surveillance data. Then a sound, their own voices, looped, distorted, twisted back at them in a deafening chorus. Target acquired, target acquired, target acquired. It doesn't stop, it grows. Camera sweeps back to Karoline watching through thermal monitors. Narrator, this isn't just noise, it's psychological warfare 3.0, engineered acoustics, looped commands. Flash strobes mapped to neurological triggers. One man drops to his knees screaming. Another fires wildly into a mirror, only to shatter glass and trigger a smoke pulse. They panic, and Karoline, she watches, composed, in control. Cut to Felix, captured, watching the chaos from a tablet as agents restrain him. Narrator, Felix Reyes sees what's happening. His men are falling apart, from fear, confusion, and their own guilt echoing back at them. He turns to the agent holding him. Stop her. She's not normal. The agent just stares, because even they know, Karoline Leavitt isn't just a target. She's a tactician, and this entire night has been a lesson. Back to El Fantasma, moving deeper, only 2 men left at his side. El Fantasma presses forward, through the smoke, through the madness, but something keeps gnawing at him. Why hasn't she shown herself? Because he still doesn't understand. She already has. Every word, every trap, every hesitation from his men. That was Karoline. Final moment. The corridor narrows, pressure sensors beep softly, his boot stops mid-step. This was never about firepower. It was about clarity. I don't need to kill you. I just needed to break you. The corridor lights turn red. Steel walls close behind him. His men are gone. The exit is gone. All that remains is silence, and her voice filling the space like prophecy. Closing line. Karoline stepping into frame behind bulletproof glass. Game over, Ghost. Opening shot, security camera feed, the cartel's elite unit walking confidently down a sterile hallway. Narrator, he stepped into my house. Karoline's voice plays like a slow burn, measured, certain. I made it his prison. Cut to interior. The moment the last man enters, the steel door behind them slams shut with a hiss. 6 elite killers, trained for war, armed for domination. They thought they had her cornered. Instead, they just crossed the threshold into a labyrinth designed to break them. Camera cuts to Karoline in the command center. No panic, only precision. See over comms to her team. Seal all exits, vent pattern Delta 3. Let's finish this. Initiating lock, deploying gas. Cut to the trapped squad. Sensors click, vents hiss open above them. It begins quietly. A soft white mist curls down from the ceiling. They aim their rifles upward. But there's nothing to shoot. It's not smoke. It's nerve gas, non-lethal, but disorienting. Within seconds, vision blurs, balance slips, heartbeat spike. One man stumbles into the wall. Another drops his weapon, fingers twitching. Audio, shrill frequency tones build, lights strobe violently, shadows move across the walls. Then come the lights, blinding, pulsing, mapped to overwhelm the optic nerve. And the sound, carefully designed sonic waves targeting the brain's equilibrium center. No bullets, no blood, just pure tactical brilliance. They scream, they claw at their helmets, but there is no escape. Cut to Karoline, watching, eyes cold with purpose. This isn't revenge. It's containment. It's control. She presses one more key. The floor shifts. Magnetized steel disables remaining weapons. Doors slam behind the team, dividing them. Each one now completely isolated. Cut to El Fantasma in his separate cell, breathing hard alone. El Fantasma, once a ghost, now a prisoner in a house he thought was prey. His gun, gone. His men, gone. His reputation, shattered. He punches the wall, but even the walls don't answer. Only Karoline's voice returns. Overhead speaker, Karoline's voice, calmly. Let this moment burn into your memory. This is what it feels like to be outmatched. Cut to FBI convoy, blacked out vehicles racing through the gate, sirens blaring. 3 minutes earlier, Karoline sent a single encrypted signal. The FBI's elite tactical response unit had been on standby. Now they descend on the estate. No resistance, no firefight. They don't need to draw a weapon because Karoline already won. Interior shot, FBI agents moving in, stunned at what they find. Narrator, each cartel member is found, unconscious, unarmed, laid out like dominoes. One, still crying in a corner. Another, curled into a fetal position, whispering her name. The agents don't speak. They just look around and realize this wasn't a lucky defense. This was a masterclass in strategy. Cut to lead FBI agent approaching. FBI agent. No casualties? Karoline, not on our side. Agent, how the hell did you pull this off? Walking past him. I stopped playing defense the moment they crossed the line. Final shot. The cartel members being dragged out in cuffs, dazed and broken. They brought an army. She brought intelligence. They brought fear. She brought truth. And when they stepped into her home, they didn't walk into a battlefield. They walked into a lesson. Closing line. Karoline looking straight at a surveillance camera, almost like she's speaking to the world. Karoline. Let them send whoever they want. But understand this. If you come for me, you better not miss. Opening scene. Dawn breaking over the mansion. Helicopters circling above. Reporters flooding the front lawn. They came to destroy me. The cartel brought elite assassins, tactical teams, war-grade gear, and hatred wrapped in arrogance. But by morning, they weren't the threat anymore. They were the headline. Cut to rows of cameras flashing, media trucks parked on the street, a packed press conference outside the mansion gates. A podium stands at the front steps. American flags wave behind it. Flanked by security, Karoline Leavitt steps up. No fear, no damage, just power in a blazer and heels. The crowd goes silent. The nation waits. Close up. Karoline looks directly into the camera, eyes blazing with calm fury. Last night, a foreign-funded cartel launched a coordinated attack on American soil. They didn't just come for me. They came for the message I represent. And what happened to them should be a warning. Evil can bring weapons. But America still has people willing to stand up and outsmart it. Cut to live feed across major news outlets, CNN, Fox, C-SPAN, YouTube, TikTok clips. Narrator, in under an hour, her speech goes viral. Clips trend worldwide. Karoline Leavitt turns cartel raid into national reckoning. The strategy queen strikes again, a political lioness in a tactical storm. Even her critics admit, this wasn't luck. It was legacy in motion. Cut to Congress, lawmakers watching the press conference from their offices. Narrator, on Capitol Hill, phones light up. Republicans call for hearings. Independents demand investigations. Even some Democrats can't help but mutter, she just did what our agencies couldn't. And Karoline, she doesn't stop at speeches. She turns to the cameras again. I'm calling on Congress to act. No more silence. No more loopholes. You want to protect this country? Then show up like I did. Cut to federal agents walking El Fantasma and Felix Reyes in cuffs down courthouse steps. Meanwhile, the masterminds behind the attack aren't in hiding. They're in chains. Felix Reyes, face bruised, eyes down. El Fantasma, expression blank, but the mask is gone. They're no longer legends. They're evidence. And Karoline just flipped the narrative. Montage, court documents, leaked footage, news anchor voiceovers. Federal prosecutors confirm the entire operation was funded through a shell company linked to foreign enemies. Karoline's surveillance captured every move admissible in court. El Fantasma, under pressure, agrees to testify to avoid life in solitary. The cartel just lost its two most dangerous assets to one woman in Virginia. Cut to social media. Posts flying by, comments, video edits with dramatic music. On Twitter, they call her the strategy queen. On TikTok, teens remix her quotes with music and edits like a Marvel hero. She's not just trending, she's redefining what it means to lead with intelligence and backbone. Karoline, in an interview later that evening, calm, humble, but unshaken. Did you expect this kind of reaction? With a soft smile. I expected them to underestimate me. I just didn't expect the country to watch them regret it in real time. Final montage. Drone shots of the mansion, American flags, protest signs demanding congressional action, Carol walking with her narrator. Her mansion, once just a home, now stands as a symbol of resistance, of resilience, of revenge delivered without firing a single shot. Karoline Leavitt didn't just survive an attack, she transformed it into a national reckoning. And now, the world knows the truth. Don't mess with the White House when she's the one defending it. Closing shot. Karoline walking into the mansion, doors closing behind her, echoing one final line. You don't win by being louder. You win by being smarter. And I never lose.